going to go ahead and start today. We're going to continue our work with natural disasters. So our learning target is what we've been talking about. Through this whole unit, I did a very general target. And that is that we are learning to make observations, obtain information, create graphical displays, to describe patterns in weather, climate, erosion, and features of the earth. So we've done a lot of observing what the weather's like outside. We have made graphs. Just the other day, we made 2 line graphs and we made a bar graph, right, to display the rainfall and the wind speed and all of that good stuff. So now we are going to look a little bit more at natural disasters. We will be obtaining information by doing some research. So that's this part of our success criteria: obtain and combine information to explain phenomena. And then we will also look at this part, this last success criteria. Think of a solution to a problem related to a natural disaster. And that's kind of where I'm going to start today. But I want to remind you where we left off. We read the book on hurricanes. We looked at the Gulf of Mexico, that 2 hurricanes were going to hit that, yes, on the Gulf. And we talked about our beaches, how they get eroded from the winds and from the big waves and these storms, right? So it not only affects people, it affects the land, these storms. All right, so I'm just going to show you this one more time because this is hurricanes. This was the natural disaster we were watching and talking about.
Violent winds, driving rain, killer waves. These are the hallmarks of a hurricane. Also called cyclones or typhoons, hurricanes are giant storms prowling the world's tropical seas. An average hurricane releases as much energy in a day as the explosion of 500,000 small atomic bombs. Hurricanes form in the summer and fall when the sun heats vast stretches of tropical ocean to over 82 degrees. Warm, moist air rises over these hot spots, creating thunderstorms. Upper-level winds and surface winds then come together, forming a circular pattern of clouds known as a tropical depression. When the winds exceed 39 miles per hour, a tropical storm has developed. When the winds reach 74 miles per hour, a hurricane is officially born. Inside the storm, bands of rain up to 300 miles long meet in the eye wall, the most violent section. Here, winds of up to 200 miles per hour spiral upward. Within the center of the hurricane, downdrafts of dry air create a strangely calm area called the eye. Fully formed, a hurricane may stretch over 500 miles in diameter. That's a storm nearly the size of Texas and reach a height of 9 miles. Most of these storms spin out over the open sea, but in an average year, 2 or 3 will strike the mainland of North America. And when they do, the damage can be catastrophic. Most dangerous is the storm surge, a wall of water that sweeps across the coastline where a hurricane makes landfall. About 45,000 people were killed by hurricanes in the 20th century, including some 15,000 in the United States. Hurricanes are also costly in dollars. 1992's Hurricane Andrew was the most expensive natural disaster in U.S. history, causing more than $25 billion worth of damage. Scientists are searching for better ways to predict the path of a hurricane. Special planes called hurricane hunters fly directly into these monster storms and drop sensors to measure wind speed, temperature, and air pressure, providing vital clues to the hurricane's direction. New 3D models are also helping scientists understand this awesome force of nature and provide quicker and more accurate warnings to anyone unlucky enough to be caught in its path.
Okay, in your science spiral, we just talked about hurricanes. They're natural disasters. They're something we can't control, right? They're from nature. What other natural disasters are there that are not caused by man. We try to predict when they're going to happen. We try to prevent some of the damage that they cause. Write in your science spiral any other natural disasters or phenomena that we have in our world related to weather that you can think of besides hurricanes. What are the things that are destructive with weather that are natural? Write as many as you can. There's quite a few. See if you can stretch your brain. Put your hands down. I'm not calling on anyone. I'm asking you to write. Don't just write one. Think of as many as you can. Think of other different parts of the world or our country where other things, maybe they don't happen in Colorado. Maybe it's somewhere else.
Whatever we writing, gotta go get my spiral.
Okay. Don't worry about spelling, just do your best. Oh, I see we've got like 5 over here. Yeah. Even if they're not considered natural disasters, at least try. Yeah, try. I'm not grading this, it's not a quiz, right?
Stretch your brain. Stretch that brain.
Ooh, a lot of good ones. All right. All right, Ben, what is one natural disaster besides a hurricane that you can think of that is related to weather?
Tornado?
Yeah, tornadoes, which sometimes happen within hurricanes, right? That happens together sometimes. Tornadoes, very good. Leo, another one.
Earthquake.
Oh, an earthquake. I don't think I put that on my list. That would have been great. It's not really considered. It's not weather. Yeah, you're right, but it is a natural disaster. Yeah, Mrs. Harrison had a good point. It's not really related to the weather, like with wind and the air and all of that and precipitation, but it is a disaster. And it's good thinking and it's natural. All right, Jensen.
Snowstorm.
Yeah, blizzard, right? A blizzard is considered a natural weather disaster. I understand. Look around. Haley, you got your hair cut. It's adorable. Did you cut your hair? Let's see. Pull your hair. Or is it just pulled back? Stand up. Stand up. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. Oh no, it's not. It just teased me. Didn't it look like it was? It looked like you got it bobbed like this. Hold on. I'm gonna have to start doing that. But I like it long too. Haley, do you have a natural disaster?
My 2 was a tornado and
Okay. Abby.
sandstorm.
Sandstorm. Good. Dust storm. Sometimes they're called dust storms. Marin. Floods. Excellent. Sawyer. Tsunami, another name for a hurricane, right? Oh, thunderstorms. Yeah, good. Yes, Sunny. Droughts. What are you thinking, Haley?
Lightning storm.
Which goes with thunder, right? For sure. Gabe. Tidal wave. It's part of like tsunamis, right? They have those huge waves. Yes.
I thought it was a man-made one too.
Yeah, we're going to stick with the weather ones. Okay, guys. Well, I'm glad you have a lot of good ideas. What I want to do. Oh, somehow, I don't know how that happened. We are going to talk a little bit more about natural disasters. Also, I want to talk about, hold on. what do we do to prepare for these natural disasters? What are some things? Write down in your spiral, what are some things we would do for a hurricane? How might we prevent some of the damages? We talked a little bit about that. Go ahead and write in your spiral some ways we might prepare for a hurricane, we could call it, or prevent some of the damages. Go ahead and write in your spiral some of your ideas. I think I shared some with you last time during science, so you might already have some ideas. So thinking about a hurricane, strong winds, lots of rain. We talked about that the power might go out. Max Fox, what is something you think we could do to prepare or prevent damage?
You could cover the buildings up.
Cover up buildings. I know we always had to put wood on our windows. That was one thing we did, Mastria.
Board up windows.
Board up the windows for sure. Yes, Noah. Stay in the house. What else? Make an emergency kit. Good idea. Sunny. First aid kit. Yeah, Haley Booker.
Go like underground or somewhere.
Sometimes there's like, yeah, underground shelter. Okay, depending on what type of disaster it is. Evie, sorry, go ahead.
So I wrote run and plant.
So I would say evacuate, maybe? Evacuate if you're asked to evacuate. And she said plant trees, that's for our coast to help prevent some of the damage. I want to share this video with you. This is something I had never heard of living in Florida as long as I did. Watch what these people are doing.
It's a homeowner's worst nightmare. A vicious storm. Look at this. This man is being pummeled by hurricane-force winds generated by two swamp boats. But the home behind him is protected by an amazing new kind of fabric. In front of the barrier, our volunteer can hardly stand. But behind the fence, a 63% decrease in wind resistance. Staying upright is no problem, and your house stays protected. It's called the Cat 5 hurricane netting system. The mesh is made of specially coated polyester. Here's how it works. Throw a few 10-foot wide sections of the fabric over your home and attach it to anchors secure to the ground. It should take about 3 to 4 hours, but what a difference it makes. The mesh costs 85 cents a square foot, which means it'll cost about $3,000 to cover an average size house. Still, a lot less than a new roof. And there are other things you can do to get your home ready. Install impact windows. The glass breaks but won't fly out of the frame. And remember, with big storms brewing, the time to get ready is now.
So I just want to say, did you see that little home kind of sliding across the road? That's a mobile home. And how many of you have ever heard of a mobile home? So if you live in Florida and you're near the coast, you do not want to live in a mobile home. They are not very safe during a hurricane. So I know my grandparents ended up living in a mobile home toward the end of their lives, and they were North Florida, away from the coast, so they never had a problem. Hurricanes don't hit, like where I went to college in Gainesville in the northern part of the state. They usually are going to land in the southern coastal towns, right? Because they're coming off of the water's edge there. So, but most people know, do not get a mobile home. You won't see them very often. Now you do see, actually, I just was in Anna Marie Island last summer, and there's a whole mobile home park right there on the beach. So do you think those people would evacuate? Yeah, immediately, because their homes will not survive that. Okay, so I want to show you this house also. It's just a picture. And in your notebook, I want you to write a headline for this image. It's a short, tiny clip. I don't even know if it's a video. Do you guys know what a headline is?
No.
Think about EL when Mrs. Harrison was doing the frog module and she did non-fiction text features. And she talked kind of about titles, right? Or headings in a nonfiction book, and you had subheadings. They tell what that section of the text is about. So it's kind of informing your reader. Okay, now you're going to read about the habitat of this creature, or now you're going to read about the food that this creature eats. So I want you to just kind of, and think of it as a title if you want, put a heading, or you could think of it as a caption. You know how when you had pictures in your books and you might have a little caption next to it to tell what it is? Okay, that's what I want you to do. Are you guys ready? Oh, where'd it go? Come back. All right. There we go. Okay, but I really want you to go back and see what would, here, I'm gonna stop it here. What, if you had that picture in a book, what would you put as a heading for it? Write in your science notebook. Write down what you think a good heading would be, or title for it, or caption, however you want to think about it. What do you notice? What do you see there that would help you come up with a heading? You don't need to switch your page every time. You can stay the tree, right? Ooh, we always capitalize our titles and our headings. Make sure you have capital. Ooh, that's clever. And it doesn't have to be long. It can be 2 words if you want, 3, 4. You don't need a lot. And there's no wrong answer. I like that. That's good. Oh, clever. Very good. Will you share yours? Yes, no, maybe? Nice. Very cute. Okay, I picked a couple people to share. Josh Carter, what was the heading for yours? Oh, Lennox, listen, ready? Say it again. House that stays and doesn't move. All right. Lucas, what was yours? Floating house. And then Nixon, what was yours? Stilt house. Marin. Safe hurricane house. Yes, okay. Anybody at home willing to share your heading? How about Gavin? Hey guys, my in-person kids, we want to listen to Gavin's thoughts. What would you title that?
A hailstorm hit a house.
Maybe you could type it in chat. We had a hard time hearing you. Mrs. Harrison will tell us what it is. Haley, can you share yours?
I wrote houses that sit on wood.
Houses that do what? Didn't, Houses on what? Okay. All right. So those are called stilt houses. And when you go to the beach, you will notice that most, not all, but most of the houses that you see near the coast are required now to be built like on stilts. Now, they don't all look like this. Some have like more cement. And you park your car under the house and then you go upstairs. So Mrs. Harrison has the question or? Okay, here's what Gavin called it. Hailstorm hit a house. Okay, so it looks like, I'm not sure it was hail, but I think it's showing you that when you have a flood, right? What if this house wasn't on stilts, Lennox? What if it wasn't on these stilts? What would have happened? It'd get flooded. If you've ever lived through a flood or had your house flood or your basement flood from broken pipes, it causes a lot of damage and you have to do a lot of work. So sit down, please. And it's expensive. It's very expensive. So people don't like that. We don't want that, do we? Definitely not. So let's see. Oh, I need to get out of here. My escape button doesn't work today. So let's see. All right. Now I can stop it. Thank you. So I want you to choose 2 or more of the following prompts to write about or talk about in your breakouts. You can choose 2 or more of these. I'm going to have you with a partner, but I want you to pick which one you want to write about. How does weather impact our lives? What would you think and feel if you lived in that house? How else do humans adapt to weather and climate? What local examples do you see to adapt to the weather and climate where you live? What are some things we do to survive the weather here in Colorado? What are some things humans do to change? What do we change about the way we live to adapt? What do we change to survive the weather and climate? And then what would you think and feel if you lived in that house, or how does weather impact your life? I know I get a lot of complaints about the snow. Why? Why? Write it down. And then actually, you're going to talk about it in a small group. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to write. I'm going to leave this up. I want you to write in your science spiral about at least 2 of these things. You can write about more. Pick the 2 that speak to you. How does weather impact our lives? What would you think and feel if you lived in that house? How else do humans adapt to weather and climate? What local examples do you see to adapt to the weather and climate where you live here in Colorado? Okay, pencils should be moving. You're writing right now. Pick at least 2 of those questions to answer in your science spiral. Get your pencil. You're answering 2 of those questions right now. Go, go, go. They're right there, so you can read them. I left the questions up, so you can read them. It says, how does weather impact our lives? What would you think and feel if you lived in this house? How else do humans adapt to weather and climate? What local examples do you see to adapt to the weather and climate where you live? You don't have to answer all of them. Pick 2 that speak to you. Oh, I love that. Some people are thinking about their cups. Capitals at the beginning of their sentences, making sure it has a subject and predicate for understanding. Yeah. You have to have something to share. You have to have two. Make sure you're answering two. Bless you. I'm gonna do some max today. I'm gonna see if I can sit on max just a little bit, or between max and things. So August can do some. Tell me if you need 1 minute or 0 minutes. If you need 1 minute or 0. Yeah, his internet was not good. Sorry. All right, you kiddos at home are going to share what you wrote. You have another minute by the time I get you ready, Haley. In your breakout groups. So let's see. I'm going to put you in 2. And you guys can get started as soon as you can join and then share what you've written. Okay, my kiddos, find a partner and share what you wrote. Lennox, come here, please. Lennox, come here. If you touch it, it'll, if you can't touch it, it'll move. Okay, let's get our kids back. All right. All right, let's go back and I'm gonna share my screen. What were some of the things when we talked about looking at these questions? How does weather impact our lives? Did anybody have an answer to that? Marin. She said, oh, I love this example. She said, weather impacts my life because when it snows so much, they cancel school. Logan, I saw you had your hand up. Did you want to answer that as well?
Weather impacts life because weather can be very harsh and it can ruin plants.
Okay, can be harsh and ruin your plans. Can you give an example?
Maybe one time like you were
Let's bird, not a good idea.
say you were outside and then you see a thunderstorm coming and you have to go inside and you really wanted to go play outside.
So he said, when you see a thunderstorm coming. Okay, so last night, I don't know about you guys, but there was thunder at my house and I wanted to walk my dogs and I did not because my dog hates thunder and she was crying and shaking. So we went downstairs instead and hung out in the basement, right? That changed my plans. Just like you said, if you're outside, you have to come inside. Thank you, Logan. Right? Or
Can I say something?
if it's related to how weather impacts our lives.
I want to answer the second.
All right, let's get on to that one. What would you think and feel if you lived in this house? So Ryder wanted to answer this
I would
one.
be happy to live in that house because I can survive a flood.
He said he would be happy to live inside that house because he could survive a flood. Noah, I read yours was pretty good too. What did you say about that one?
I think it would be cool but scary.
He said, I think it would be cool but scary. You don't like being up high like that?
Here's like all the water.
All the water around not having land under you. I have to tell you guys, my friend lives on a canal and when we visit her, we go out into the Gulf of Mexico. There are houses in the middle of the ocean that I'll see if I can find them online and show you a picture, but we go by them on her boat. They have no electricity and people actually, they were built long. I don't even know how do you build that out there. I can't even believe it, but
You probably have to get
I really am going to try to share these pictures if I can. I might even have pictures on my phone of them because they're really cool, but people are in the houses out there in the middle of the ocean. And what you do is you rent them, but it's like camping because you have no electricity. But I would love to go in and see one. And people go, how do you think they get to it? By boat. Yep, for sure. Evie, did you want to share one for the second one? You're scared of heights, so not a good one. Okay, what about how else do humans adapt to weather and climate? What do we do, Sunny? Yes, clothing is a big one. When I moved to Colorado, I had to buy long underwear. I didn't even know what that was. We didn't use long underwear in Florida, but you might call them those cuddle duds. You put them underneath your clothes to stay warm. When I was teaching, I taught, what grade did I teach? I think second grade. I had long underwear under my skirts and the kids would make fun of me because they're like, oh, why are you wearing those? But I was so cold because I was from Florida, right? I had to adapt. I had to get used to it. They're just like pants. Have you heard of, you get them at Walmart. Yeah, well, yeah, Paxton's got them. I wear them when I ski. Very good. So your clothing. We also, what do we have to do to our roads? What do we have to do to our roads here? They didn't do it in my neighborhood this morning, but what did I wish they had done? Snowplow. I had never seen snowplows. I didn't know what a gravel truck was. I didn't know what the stuff on the road was. We didn't do that in Florida, right? Big difference. All right. So a lot of difference. If you guys move to another state in your lifetime, you will find that people do different things based on the weather. If you live in a place where hurricanes hit, you're going to know that you should have extra water. You need to have batteries. You have to have candles in case your power goes out. We deal with that here too, don't we? All right. Nice job today. I did want to just tell you the next time we meet, we are going to be working on posters. So I did not dismiss you. That's not very polite. So the next time we meet, we will be working on posters for natural disasters. So the rest of our weather unit will be researching natural disasters with team members, and then we will be creating a poster to teach some of those ideas about each disaster. I'll give you more detail, so stay tuned. And if you don't have your poster in your remote learner, will you remind your parents that they're out in the foyer there by the front office? There's a table for you with your name on it. I put posters. Did anyone get their poster already? My remote learners, Leo, Haley. Good, Ben. So Gavin and Jensen, they'll be there, and that would be great for you to have. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll have our Haiwan people. The rest of you will see you. Bye.